Hey, welcome to Richard's Point of View. This is the first of a vlog. Is that what you call it, Isabel?
No, it's not a vlog.
Whatever. Okay,
This
so
is
moving
first
on.
video.
Okay, fine. And so I'd like to introduce Zach Treisman. He's my very first guest and a very dear friend of mine. He grew up in Santa Fe, Nuevo Mexico. His father was a grand friend of mine and lawyer Eric Treisman. So long stories about Eric that'll happen later. Zach is a mathematician and he is a professor at Gunderson. He's been there for how many years? 40 years?
10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, 10 years.
40 years.
And so I'm going to ask Zach. Well, also, Zach grew up free range in Santa Fe. I think he was walking downtown when he was 5 years old and got to know everybody. And I think there's laws against that now. But I thought I might add that I'm for a lesser Santa Fe. Emmett Watson in Seattle, he was for a lesser Seattle because everybody wants growth everywhere. I know I'll be insulting at times, but I like to call this place a two-lizard town. And I did
Two-lizard town? What does that mean?
well, up to one lizard, which means that it's a chill little town. It's a suburb of LA and New York and San Francisco, and it's quite intellectual. And so at this, in these sessions, so to speak, or interviews, as it were, we'll be using some pretty big words. So if you find my verbal acclamations too copious for your diminutive comprehension,
Richard, stop.
then I reiterate. That's Groucho Marx.
No, that's illegal. Like, you can't talk like that on the internet. You gotta be accessible to people.
Oh yeah, this is the first one, so I'm being accessible. Zach, you grew up here. What's Santa Fe like for you now when you visit?
Well, it's fairly similar in a lot of ways if you find the right pockets and corners. But over on top of that, there's laid down all of the changes of
Progress?
Well, that's a loaded word, isn't it, Richard?
Well, of course it is. We have to keep the show amusing.
Oh.
I'm supposed to be kind of nice and semi-insulting to my guests.
To be fair, though, I don't think progress is too loaded of a word.
Yes.
Referred to New Mexico.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
like,
Yeah, I mean.
we got movies now.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Exactly. But
Well, I think it's much more interesting to live here and be a young person than it was perhaps when I was growing up.
And you were a free-range
I
child.
was a free-range child. Yes.
That's not illegal. That still exists. People just raising their kids slightly like chickens. You know, just let them go.
Isabel Rush is a fabulous brain child, and she is also one of my cadre of trace millennials. There she is. And so.
Are you still a millennial?
Okay, I'm not technically a millennial. I'm the generation after millennial.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. It's there's cutoffs, but
Right.
I'm Gen Z,
Exactly.
the
Give me these notes over
iPod
here.
generation.
Right. She's also very fluent in tech and has a associate degree in biology. If anybody needs a biologist, I would wait till she graduates fully. Next thing. Okay. Now. So Zach, I had some notes for you. I also have this Wall Street Journal. We're going to go through every single item in it, all the editorial pages, and I'm going to insist that we prove someone's wrong. Which should be taken away right away. Do you have any good dirt on Gunderson?
There's a lot of dirt in Gunnison.
Is it crunchy?
Like
granola crunchy.
there's some like Crested Butte has more of that. So
Isn't there some compound up there that's a secret no one's supposed to talk about and you can't even talk about?
Why would he know about a secret compound?
Yeah, but you're not supposed to talk about
well,
it.
there are lots of them, but I can't talk about them.
Exactly. This when you go up
But
to the
you
mountains.
know about them?
Of course, I know about
What do you
them.
mean you know about it? Like, how? Like, do you work there?
No. But one of the things that people don't realize is that when there are mountains near their compound, if you're up on the mountains, you can see into their compounds.
What have you seen?
I don't
And what
think-
kind of compounds are they? No, real question. Are they government compounds? Because when the government did the whole Manhattan Project in Los Alamos, Santa Fe
No,
did
it's nowhere near as interesting as Los Alamos.
Oh, okay, so it's not a secret. We're creating more nuclear weapons.
No, most of the thing about secret compounds is that they're mostly just interesting to the people that are in their secret compounds.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like when people build a treehouse and don't let anybody else in until they realize that
So there's
nobody else
nothing
wants it.
in the compound.
Yeah, really.
That's kind of a bummer.
So the story is, I'll go back to millennials for a second because I have a certain high respect for them. But the last millennial,
Yeah.
before she quit.
The
working
last
with me-
millennial before me?
quit, yeah, before she quit working with me and went on to greener pastures, although my name is Green. She said, to understand me, to understand millennials, to understand me, I have to see Thor Ragnarok, which I did. Is that pronounced right? And I kind
Thor of Ragnarok.
yeah, Thor. Yeah,
I don't
Thor-
even think I've seen that. Do
Thor
I not
Ragnar-
understand
But I
millennials?
kind of got it because there's so much humor in it. It's so fast-minded, and so Zach, since you're here, Zach, I thought we could discuss thermodynamics and the mathematics involved in extraterrestrial space hunting.
Didn't you want this
Yeah.
show to be funny?
Oh, you're right. Okay, tell me things that when people bring up subjects that you immediately dismiss
Yeah.
about mathematics.
Subjects that I immediately dismiss about
Yes.
mathematics.
Yeah.
Well, so there's a conversation that happens frequently when I let it be known that I'm a mathematician of sorts, where somebody tells me in a sort of confession-like tone about their algebra class in high school that they either liked or did not like, or something like this, as if that's the most important thing about them to me,
Ah,
and
Oh.
it's not.
yeah.
It's
Is everything quantifiable?
is everything quantifiable? Depends on what you mean by quantifiable.
Well,
Yeah, define it
well,
for the audience.
Yeah.
yeah. My
What
teacher.
would you like to quantify? How about this? Rather than is everything quantifiable, give me something that you doubt whether or not it is quantifiable, and I will quantify it as best I can.
That's an excellent question, which I'm not going to answer. But I will say.
I can answer it.
No, wait. No, I will say that.
Let the post-millennial talk.
Oh, you're right.
Post millennial. Okay.
Okay.
No. Okay. So is human suffering quantifiable? Like is emotion quantifiable? Right? Because
Take me to
that's
see your face. Come over here. Because look at this puno. There she is. Okay. You may lean into the camera a little bit. Oh, boy.
Okay.
get cozy. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, is that quantifiable?
Well,
Because you can't technically measure it, right?
sure, but you can compare it, right? So, are you happier today than you were yesterday?
Well, that's hard to tell. 'Cause like, what if you don't remember how you felt yesterday?
Well, think of a day when you felt really unhappy.
No, yeah, no, that was yesterday.
So if you give yourself a baseline,
Yeah, fair.
like
Yeah, you
yesterday,
quantify it.
right? If you give yourself a baseline,
Yeah.
then you can quantify your amount happier today, and you can maybe you won't say you're 5 happier today than you were yesterday, but you are somewhat, you can give yourself a scale,
76%.
right? And that's what we do with everything, right? If you want to measure, say, the distance that you've traveled, you have to give yourself a baseline.
Okay, let's talk about something else inside the show. Let's talk about music in Santa Fe. Everybody knows the bandstand is fabulous.
Actually,
Thank you,
nobody knows what the bandstand is.
The
'Cause no
bandstand-
one who's watching this lives here.
Yeah, okay, oh good, good point.
So-
People who live in Santa Fe, there's a Santa Fe bandstand that's been going on for a really long time, and Michael Dillingham has produced it for a number of years now. Steve Andre is going to be closing out on August 10th, the bandstand, along with John O'Manson. So it's a great show. This is has a major impact in Santa Fe because Santa Fe has tremendous musicians, tremendous guitarists, and I could name a bunch of them, but then I feel bad about the ones I left out. Nobody would feel that bad about it. But okay, I'm a fan of Tio Demetrius and his band, and I could.
What are you doing?
I like talking about music, and so that's my plug for music.
That wasn't your plug for music. That was your plug for the bandstand. That was like a full commercial for the
It was
Santa
kind
Fe
of
bandstand.
it was kind of a
And call
self-plug.
1-800 Santa Fe Bandstand, and you too could be
Oh wait, go
performing.
get, well, okay, I would like to end this very first program and thank you, and thank Isabel, you're Isabel. of
You?
course, yeah.
Thank
And thank
me
Zach
twice.
Treisman. Zach Treisman. And so we're going to end our song, Holding Hands, and sing Kumbaya.
No.
No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to end it. So many blessings. We'll be here next week or whatever.